So
I must admit, I've been reading through it, and I'm up to where am I? I can't remember all the technical names, if I'm honest. There's a lot of them, but I've read up to the skeletal system at the moment.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of reading, but it's just trying to remember everything.
So you know, we're doing the massage manual, not the anatomy manual.
Yeah, no, I'm doing the massage one because I started on the anatomy one.
Yeah.
And then when you said this, I thought, oh my God, I haven't even looked at that one yet. So.
Yeah. Because the anatomy and physiology, you're doing the home learning. So that's essentially, you're going to do that yourself. But like I said, I'm happy to do a little tutorial afterwards if you've got time, if we've got time. I mean, might have to reschedule it now, depending on what my kids need.
Yeah. No, that's
because we're starting half an hour so later. So let's see how we go. I mean, if they're absolutely, I might need to just sort of see to them, and we'll reschedule it another time. But so the course objectives and the introduction, this very first module, task 1, where it says the icebreaker to introduce yourself. I mean, this is done sort of through our conversations, through introduction and the conversations of you know, you telling me why you're signing up for the course, basically. So you don't need to write it out unless you want to write a little bit more, just to sort of clarify for yourself why you're doing it. You don't need to do this. It's not necessary for you to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know who you are, and I know why you're doing it, and I know your journey so far, and so you don't really need to do that. This module 2 here, the history of massage, is really good for you too. You don't need to know this off by heart. I mean, even in 25 years of practice, I don't know it all off by heart, but I do know, you know, that massage and complementary therapy and lovely ritual therapies and the whole holistic world started 3,000 years ago. It started, you know, in China and in India and Asia. The Chinese and the Japanese Buddhist monks and the Indian Vedas. I mean, some of the Vedic scriptures go back, you know, years and years. And so not that they fight over it, but both of them are looking at around 3000 BC for their origins. And then also not so far behind in the Egyptian times, and then the Greek philosophies, and so these modalities and these practices have been going for many years, which is great, because they are tried and tested, and they're certainly, you know, they're not woo-woo unless you make them woo-woo, because they're scientific as well. So there's a lot of scientific evidence that a lot of these modalities work. What's been really lovely is the development more of looking at energetic medicine and quantum energetics and quantum physics, where we've now discovered that a lot of vibration and frequency changes the metabolic and homeostatic state of the body. And we'll talk about the word homeostasis, because that's really important, not only in the study of your anatomy and physiology, but looking at the benefits of massage. So yeah, you don't have to know those off by heart, but it's really good to go into the lineage, and it's really exciting and really interesting. So moving into like the turn of the century, there was much more available and much more knowledge about you know, aromatherapy with Rene Gattefoss during the wartime, his studies, and also what's his name, Dr. Fitzgerald, William Fitzgerald, and his understanding of zone therapy for reflexology. And just there he is, he's like 1913 and the Alexander technique. And then as it sort of moved into like the 60s and 70s, all of like, you know, the yoga movement and much more in the massage realm, and so many different modalities emerged. And then you'll see this complementary therapy. So there's a difference. One of the questions in a minute is the difference between, or your understanding of, alternative medicine and complementary therapy or complementary medicine. And complementary medicine is more that you could work it alongside pharmaceutical medicine. That's called allopathic remedies and allopathic medicine. That's your medication that's given to you by the doctors. And in some cases, it's really important to have that. Otherwise, because sometimes they are life-saving.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, you can manage a condition alternatively so that it's all complementary. So it's diet and nutrition and all complementary therapy. And that's really interesting to look at. So you do get some people who will never take an ibuprofen, will never ever take a paracetamol, never take an antibiotic, never be vaccinated, etc. They would only use homeopathic remedies. They would only use complementary therapy and diet. And there's a lot, honestly, there's a lot to be said for that approach. However, if it means that your blood pressure goes too high, or you're managing a chronic condition that's going to cause you secondary problems, and you need to have a blood thinning tablet, for example, or a long term, people with like chronic arthritis in the neck, like that ankylosing spondylitis, you have to have some, like these slow release anti-inflammatory injections, and then it's complementary therapy rather than alternative, because some people will really be miserable without some of these supportive allopathic remedies. So my standpoint is very much the complementary therapy. That's where I position myself. I love treating as naturally as possible, but the reason why I stand in the complementary therapy is for personal reasons, and just for many reasons that I've seen along the way where allopathic remedies are really needed. Okay, so then there's like all this list of amazing therapies.
I know, I was actually quite surprised how many there were, I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, some you've heard of, some we've never heard of.
Yeah.
Some are really like obvious and familiar, and then some are like, oh my goodness, auto urine therapy. It's like,
yeah.
Really? And I mean, it's super, it's really interesting, and there's so many. And what I love is that, some people are really drawn towards different modalities. That's what I find really interesting. Some people are like into being colonic therapists, and some people are really into dowsing and the kinesiology, and so it's very cool. It's very cool. So that's for you to know. Also, that once you start on this road and once you start training with me, is that it becomes a bit of an addiction, because it's also fascinating, and a lot of it weaves through together. So a lot of it is interwoven and interlaced, which is really, really lovely. Okay. So you can read through those in your own time, which brings us to module 2, the first task that you're going to write up. So let me just tell you a little bit about these writings up. So I don't want Harvard referencing essays.
Okay.
I don't want, I mean, there's that sweet spot where a couple of lines or a couple of sentences isn't really enough, but it doesn't need to be essays, and it doesn't need to be like loads and loads of words. It doesn't. It can be, a paragraph, like 200 words, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the movement of our body, the movements we use in our body is based on Swedish massage. So research the full history of Swedish massage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually done that for you, so.
You've done it?
Yeah, and I've written it up, so I didn't know whether to send it through to you on an email or to wait.
I like to receive everything, unless you're like, I don't know if this is right, then I can have a look at it for you. But I actually like to receive all the work in one go.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
It's
Yeah,
much easier for me to mark it like that
yeah.
than
Okay.
having it in bits and pieces, and then I have to go back through all lots of emails to sort of piece it all together.
Absolutely.
So if I see it, if I get it all together, then I can mark the whole lot and then sort of give you some feedback on that.
Okie dokie.
Cool. And then here's this question, like, what is allopathic medicine, which is, that term is pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And how does it differ from alternative medicine? So it's sort of like comparing the two, like, you know, just have have a conversation about it with yourself, or, you know, with me. Just have that conversation about it. And we've given you a brief description of complementary therapies. Choose one of interest and conduct and research the treatments and benefits. So again, it doesn't have to be like a conduct and research, but it can be, you know, write up a little bit of one of those that interests you, like pull up one of them you think like, oh, you know, just write, you know, another 200 words about it. It's just nice to sort of choose something. And the other reason why I like students or practitioners to know these is because I always like to signpost people into modalities that I'm not qualified in. Sorry. I only yawn because I relax. So things like, you know, if I don't do rolfing, but I know the benefits of rolfing, and someone's got an issue that I think would benefit rolfing, then I would say, I think you should go and have some rolfing. I think it's a great practice, and da 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 da. Or, you know, somebody was here the other day, and it was like he'd been to see an osteopath, he'd been to see a chiropractor and a physio, and actually I think he needed some acupuncture. So it's good to know your stuff so that you can recommend to people what you think would be better. And you could be massaging somebody for, you know, 3 to 6 months and nothing's changing. They need to go and see an osteopath. So it's good to know what other people are doing, but it's also good to have an osteopath card or contact available to offer to people. And then you could say to that osteo, I'm a massage therapist in your area. I'm going to be massaging, so, you know, you can, if you've done your work and you want to recommend them to me, brilliant. And also I'll do the same to you. So if you want to give me a couple of cards, I will happily signpost people onto you if I think that you need it.
That's good.
Yeah. That way as well, is you sort of you make those connections, and you make that a possibility that they can recommend to you, because sometimes an osteopath literally will have treated people 3 times and it won't be getting better because it's a muscular thing. People just need the muscular relaxation.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then it says, what is champissage? And so I'd like you to find out who was responsible and who brought the treatment to the West and why. So you want to Google the origins of Indian head massage or champissage. And you're looking for the name Narendra Mehta. Narendra Mehta. Just so you don't.
It's weird you say that, because that's the one I put down.
What, Narendra Mehta?
No, it's the one that I'd be interested in. So that's weird.
Ah, okay, great. So you can double up if you like. If you love it, you can write about it.
Who was responsible? Who brought it to the West? And what was the last one you said?
It's here. Have you got the questions in front of you?
No, all I've got is, we've given you a brief description of the complementary therapies. Choose one of interest and conduct research on the treatment and its benefits. That's all I've got.
What, there's no number 4?
No. Oh, no, sorry. Yes, I have done it. Oh, I've already done it. That's why. It's all right. I'm not reading it properly. Yeah, I've already answered it, so that's fine.
Did you put down Narendra Mehta?
No, I didn't.
Right. So you need, when it says who was responsible, you need to find Narendra Mehta.
I'll look that up again.
And so if you're going to do Indian head, find out about Narendra Mehta and give me a little story about him.
Okay.
He's a very cool guy. He passed away, but he's a very cool guy.
Yeah. It sounds really interesting, that side of things, actually. So I'm quite looking forward to reading a bit more about that.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's the first lot. So like I said, that you're looking at anything around, you know, 200. I won't be counting your words, but so a couple of sentences won't do, but you really don't need to be writing essays for me. All right.
Okay.
It's at level 3. Level 3 is kind of A level.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did you do A levels?
No.
Okay, so this is your first sort of A level standard. This is level 3 diploma standard. And so the requirement is, well, that's it, like 200 words. And if it's going to be more, then I'll tell you when it's going to be more. But these are like 200 words. So it's like quarter to half a page.
Fine.
All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. And then the health and safety. Well, I'm going to hand this over to you to read and enjoy. Yeah. How marvellous. You can read and enjoy it. You don't have to learn it off by heart, but I'd like you to have a flick through, have a look at it, some of the hazards, the COSH, fire, cosmetic products, interesting, consumer protection, interesting. Have a flick through that. And then things like the GDPR, you could have a look at that upgrade. It's still in here as a 1998. I can send you, actually. Why don't I send you? I've got a document about it that you can just GDPR to Nikki. I'll send you that. So
just out of interest, with this health and safety, when you've done a massage session and you've got the paper towel that they generally lay on, don't they? And you take that off. Does that have to go in a yellow?
No. I mean, even with the coronavirus situation, they say that things like now the paper towel. I mean, in before coronavirus, you would literally put the couch roll in the bin. Right. With coronavirus, they're saying that you should put it in a separate bin and keep the bin sealed for 3 days or something.
Oh God, right.
Between you and me and whoever else, you know, sees this. I've been putting my couch roll in the bin.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't need to go in the yellow bin. It's not a blood or fluid, unless you're doing things like waxing or any sort of anything where body fluids would be on there. And so if there are any body fluids on the paper, then that would go in a yellow bin.
Yeah.
Or in this situation, I would put it in a sealed, another bag, like I would put it in a bin liner and put it in the bin.
Right. Okay.
So I would seal it up. But for massage, you know, I think providing they are COVID secure and you're COVID secure, it's as safe as it can be.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll talk a little bit about that when you come for training. I'm going to teach you now about, I mean, I've been researching and following until, you know, until I'm not going to follow it anymore because everyone's like going crazy about it. But on training, I will give you that advice and guidelines about how we have to work as therapists now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's all right. It is all right. I've been working all week like that, and it is all right. I mean, it's not ideal, but it's all right. Yeah. Somebody said that Scotland, am I right in this? Scotland are working without PPE. Is that right?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything because it keeps stopping and changing every day, doesn't it? What you can and what you can't do. I mean, I haven't heard anything like that.
I saw on some Facebook group that Scotland are working as before.
Oh wow!
So that gives us all hope.
Yeah,
and that would be really cool when that happens. Okay, so
you can go in and get a takeaway, but if the takeaway happens to have a restaurant bit there as well, you don't have to wear the mask when you sit down, but you do when you're buying the takeaway.
Yeah. Okay, so at the end of that module, that brings you a little bit about professional and ethics and the Trade Description Act and stuff. There's a little bit of a multi-choice, 6 questions multi-choice. And then number 7, explain the importance of hygienic waste disposal.
Yeah.
And then 8, this is a good one. This is for you to have a think about. Explain the importance of maintaining a suitable environment, including heating, lighting, and ventilation.
Yeah.
So again, this is quite current, but even before coronavirus, this was important. And that's the other thing. That's why our industry was a little bit, surprised that we weren't allowed, because we actually have a lot of this in place. We have a lot of health and hygiene and health and safety in place already. When we do this training, I've been teaching this for years and years, and we've always observed good health and safety and codes of practice. Anyway, have a think about the client experience, really, and the importance of maintaining that suitable environment for your client's best experience. And now with that addition of the coronavirus methods. So list the contents of a first aid box. That's a cut and paste from Google. The other thing that I will say about cut and pasting from Google is, if you do, I don't mind a bit of cut and pasting, as long as you tell me where. So this is what would be your referencing, is that you need to tell me where you've cut and pasted it from. So I'm not going to tell you off, but it's just for the integrity of the insurance and accreditation of these courses, that if you do cut and paste your work, you just put, like, I found this on, health. Com, whatever.
Yeah. It's a bit like bibliographies and things like that.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah. So it just works within, and then I can see where you've got things from and how you've done your work.
Okay.
But some of it you think of yourself, and even if it's just a Google search, this next question explain sterilization, antiseptic, disinfectant. You can just put Google search, because you can Google search that, it comes up at the top.
Okay.
And you can just copy it and then just write, I found this Google search.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So that's okay. The next thing is really great for you to do, and this is a risk assessment of a treatment room. And now I'm going to include COVID-19. I'm going to include, so you're the first person that's going to have to do this.
Okay.
How the world has changed.
Yeah.
So I want you to write a risk assessment. Now, it can be done in a chart, or it can be done bullet points. It depends what is better for you or easier for you to do. Okay. You need to put down, you write the risk. So let me just write this down so I get it right. You write the risk, and then you write, I wonder if I can share my screen. Let me see. Oh no, it's not on here. You write the risk, and then you write like the hazard of it, like the potential risk. You write the hazard. Then you write the measures that you're taking.
Yeah.
Measure taking. And then you want to put who does that, if you like. So who's it? And it's either you or client. Do you know what I mean? So you can either put yourself. So I put my initials, or it's only ever going to be you or client. It's kind of who takes care of that.
Okay.
Right. Now, let me give you.
For an example, that would be something as simple as jewelry. Them wearing jewelry, because they'd be responsible for that themselves, wouldn't they? Yeah. You'd ask them to remove it, but it's down to them.
Exactly that. Let me give you a few other examples, Nikki.
Okay.
Well, there's now sort of all your, I mean, you could do a general one, or you could do the COVID one altogether, but you want to first of all make your entrance accessible.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So your entrance has to be accessible. I mean, the old ones that I've had before the coronavirus were things like the treatment table to make sure it was stable.
Yeah.
Candles and incense.
Yeah.
Slips and trips with your oil. People getting on and off your table.
Yeah.
If you have an electric blanket on your bed, the wire.
Okay.
And then, like you said, that's a really good point, is jewelry, and then things like fire exits. And then with the coronavirus now,
I suppose that's going to be protection for you, because
yeah,
you'd have to wear the masks and everything.
That's right.
And make sure that
it's correct PPE, but it's also things like what you do with their clothes and what you do, like hand washing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you could do almost like a walkthrough. You could write it out as a walkthrough, so that on arrival you could take their temperature and then they wash their hands. Did you see my, let me give you a copy of my method. I mean, mine's for my school.
Okay.
Let me give you a copy of that, and then you'll see how what I'm asking people to do. I've got a risk assessment. I'm sure I could share that with you, actually.
Okay.
Let me share that with you. So risk assess, and it's for my school, so it's slightly different, and methods. If I share that with you, then you'll see. So why don't you do the risk assessment just for a treatment room, just so you can see what the health and safety precautions are.
Okay.
And then I'll send you my risk assessment and method practice, so that you could put a few down. You don't have to do it all, but although it is now going to be mandatory for all massage therapists to have a risk assessment, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to put one together.
At least you're getting into practice of doing it now, aren't you? So when it comes to doing the real thing, you know what you're doing.
Well, you might as well do one.
Yeah, exactly.
You might as well do one, but I'll send you mine. Mine's quite extensive. I don't think you need to do, such an extensive one. Although you do need to consider that if you're doing 3 or 4 treatments a day, how you're going to sanitize your room and turn people around.
Yeah, because you've got a lot of time for that as well, haven't you? Complete glide down, that's it.
Yeah. So you're looking at sanitizing your room, changing everything over. And again, it's a tricky one, because some people are just, going bonkers with it. Yeah. But, as long as you're observing good hygienic practice, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Okay, the next module is anatomy and physiology.
Okay.
How exciting!
I know, this is a good bit.
So I'm going to just leave that on your desk.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that on your desk, and I will help you with some anatomy, whether it's later on or whether it's another time, but I will help you with that. One thing that I want to just say to you is the picture of the muscles, this picture.
Oh God, yeah.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Or I was trying to work it out the other day. I thought, I give up.
Don't look at it. It's not necessary for you to look at that. Okay. Because the other thing I wanted to say to you, darling, is to help you with your anatomy.
Yeah.
I will give you, when you come, when are you coming? When are you coming?
11th of August.
Yeah, when you come, I'm going to give you one of these books.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, thank you.
I've got a whole stock of them, and I'll give you a copy. And this will help and assist your anatomy.
Right,
and the picture of the muscles in here is much kinder. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, that's much better. I can read that one.
Yeah. And this is what I want you to work from.
Okay.
There's also a couple of books that I love. This is a great book. This is Helen McGuinness.
Helen McGuinness, right?
She's really cool, her book. Very straightforward, very clear, breaks it all down. There's her picture.
Oh, that's a lot better as well,
So
isn't it?
nice.
Yeah.
And this is really what I want you to be working from. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So
And what's that? Anatomy and Physiology, was that?
This is an anatomy and physiology book. Yeah.
Anatomy and Physiology. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's really good, and it's really, but she's I think she's a therapy, she's a complementary therapist. So
Right.
it's all about, and how she talks about the anatomy is in response or in preparation to be learning massage.
Yeah.
So this is a really good book.
Okay.
There are other muscle books, but when you're here, I can sort of point you in some of the directions of the books. But I think that the little book and the Helen McGuinness is really good, really, really good. There's one other book actually I've got here. If you can get an inexpensive copy of this is by Chris Jarmy.
Okay, concise book of muscle.
Yeah, but he basically, this book goes through every muscle and gives you the origin and insertion, which is the fixed point and the moving point, so that you can see where every muscle is. For example, let me find you one that you'll know. So that the trapezius muscle, right. It shows you where this white here, this is the tendon attachments. This is where the fixed point, and then the other fixed point, the other moving point here is the insertion. We'll talk about origins and insertions in your anatomy when we do a little bit of a revision for you, because it's important to know the origins and insertion. You don't have to learn, and that's what, when you have a look at these next few pages, can you see it's got origins and insertions and the list? I mean, even this list is just, I mean, even I'm an acupuncturist and I didn't have to learn them at that level. This is like surgeon level.
Well, when I started reading it, I thought, I don't actually understand what a lot of it means anyway. So
no, I mean, that's honestly that.
Try and look at them on the diagram, and I was thinking, I can't even find them, let alone take them out.
Yeah. So no, you don't need to know the origins and insertions at all. And that's so you can see there, the origin is like the fixed point of the muscle. Each muscle attaches to a bone by a tendon. So tendons attach muscle to bone. That you must know that tendons attach muscle to bone and ligaments attach bone to bone. That's what you do need to know. And then out of interest, the origin is the fixed point of the attachment of the muscle to the bone by a tendon, and the moving point is called the insertion. And so that's the way all the muscles are attached to the skeleton. And that's why, when you see a bicep doing this and this, there's two ends that are attached, and they shorten, they lengthen, they shorten, and they're attached by tendons. That's why people can tear tendons or have inflammation of tendons. And then ligaments are more found in like the smaller bones, and they attach bone to bone. So like in the kneecap, over the knee, you'll have ligaments, and here you're going to have ligaments where they attach the bone to the bone.
Right.
So again, when we do a little bit of anatomy revision, I'll sort of fly through some of that information for you. But when we're working on the body, as you begin to work on the body more, you will need to know a good overview of the muscular system. Because the reason is because some people come with their conditions and they will say to you, oh, I've got like, C6 and C7 are really quite fused, pulling on my traps, causing a bit of, deltoid rotation, and my rotator cuff is rotating, quite laterally or something like that. Or, that these body buffs, gym bunnies know their stuff.
Yeah.
And so when we're talking about the vertebrae, it's broken down into sections. You'll see there's like the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and they are split into different numbers, like there's 7, 12, 5, 5, and 4. When you look at the skeletal system, you'll see the different sections of the spine. Yeah. And then, in fact, it's right here. Can you see that picture there?
Yes, I've looked at that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see the C1. It's C is what's the word? Abbreviated. C1 to C7 is abbreviated cervical. Yeah. And then T is abbreviated for thoracic. L is abbreviated for lumbar.
Yeah.
S doesn't have an abbreviation only because they are fused. The sacrum is 5 bones, but they're fused as 1. And the coccyx is 4 little bones, but fused as 1. So you can see at the bottom there, you don't have S1 to S5 per se. Can you see on my whiteboard like that sparkling? Or is that just me? Can I just see that?
No, it's sparkling.
Yeah, that's really weird, isn't it? I don't know what that is. I mean, it's not, but it's something of the pixels of the. It's the pixels of the Zoom. Yeah, it's quite strange, isn't it?
They're around, lovely. They're helping.
Sorry?
The spirits are around.
They really are. I think they are. They're sparkling in the background. Hi. So, again, people turn up and they've had like, that 10 years ago, they might have had an operation on their lumbar spine. And they said, they might say L3 and L4. I had a disc prolapse, something like that. So these are some of the things that you need to know about, and some of the pathology you need to know about. Okay. And I mean, it's only basic. You don't need to go into, you're not a surgeon, you don't need to go into and you're not a chiropractic, you're not a physio. We're doing level 3 massage here. However, people do show up with those issues. So in the little book, there's a whole section on pathology. Which is the whole of the back of the book, is all about conditions that you might occur. And so, I mean, and even things like, the onset of osteoporosis and osteoarthritis, and it's good to get your head around them. And to be absolutely honest, after 25 years of doing degree after degree of diploma, there's still some of the diseases I don't retain them. I know them, but I don't retain them. So I just have to quickly look them up. But repetition, lots of people have IBS, the irritable bowel syndrome. Lots of people have common conditions and common pathologies. So it'd be really good to get a good grip on common pathology.
Okay.
And that comes in time. I'm not asking you to do that like straight away, like, you should know all your pathology, because it might take a bit of time to do all of that. There isn't a section in here on pathology, which I'm actually quite surprised about. But
there's a lot on technical things, isn't there?
Yeah. But I mean, when I teach anatomy and physiology at level 3 for ITEC, they do their pathology there.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I might run a workshop on pathology.
To me, because I never did sort of biology really at school, and if I did, it was years ago. So all this is new to me. But it's quite nice because my daughter is doing biology, so when I get stuck on things, I go out to her and ask her.
Definitely, it'd be great for you to do a bit of revision together.
Yeah, it is actually. It's quite nice. Yeah.
What's she doing? A level, did you say?
Yeah.
What, right now?
She's in the middle of doing that. She's doing A-level chemistry and A-level psychology, because she was going to train to be a vet. But because they're all predicted grades at the moment, they've said to her she won't get the straight 3 A's that she wanted.
Oh.
She'll get 2 A's and a B. And because,
why?
Well, because that's just what they've predicted. But because it's such a tough industry to get into, you have to be completely top of the top before the universities will even take you. Right. And as she said to me the other day, it's 7 years, Mum, of study. And I don't actually know if I do want to follow that path now. So I said, well, it's best that you find out now.
Yeah.
So she's going to go along the biomedical route.
Yeah,
and that opens up the door to a lot more things, because as she said, if she does the veterinary route, after 3 or 4 years, if she decides that's not her, she's wasted that time really, because there's not anything else you can transpose into. So she's doing biomedical now, which
sounds
is
amazing. That sounds amazing.
I'll do it. She'll just have to explain to her aging mother what these things are then.
Yeah, no, she will be able to explain it to you, which is really cool. How exciting.
Exactly.
So I'm going to leave that all with you, the anatomy, and then you will do now. Yes, I'm not sure if I've taken them out, but if I haven't, you can do that now. Come to the end of the anatomy module and you'll see the questions.
I haven't. Oh,
keep going.
Is that after the skeletal system?
It is, yep, keep going. It's right at the end of the module.
Okay, hang on. Yes, module 4.
You've got it. You've got it. So tell me, does number 22 say in the bones forming the back of the skull?
Yeah, identify and label the zygomatic maxilla and the mandible bone.
Is that number 22?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Then I've adjusted it because some of them were repeated. And can I just ask you what's number 24?
24. Give the names of the muscles that make up the quadriceps.
Okay, perfect. So I've adjusted it. Yeah, that's
okay.
Cool. Amazing. Then we're moving on to contraindications. Let's talk about contraindications. So contraindications, let's just have a look at the time. Yeah, contraindications to massage. So these are, and they're contraindications, contractions. The word contractions is what might happen as a result. Contraindications, sorry, I should have said that first. Contraindications are when it's not appropriate to massage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So times when it's not appropriate to massage. For example, sickness, vomiting, diarrhea, open and weeping eczema, that sort of thing. We'll go through that in a second. Contractions is what might happen as a result. And I don't know if you've had much massage, but sometimes after a massage, you can feel a bit chilly, or you can feel a bit tired, or you can feel quite, va-va-voom. It really depends on what your body needs and how it processes.
Yeah.
And then the benefits of massage, like what it's good for. And so this page, this first page here is what it's good for.
Okay.
We're not allowed to diagnose as massage therapists ever.
Okay.
We're never allowed to say, oh, that sounds like this and you need that, or you've got that and I would suggest that you do that. We're not allowed to do that. And so therefore, we're also not allowed to make claims that we fix or, you can say like that healing, I suppose, is a better word, but we're not allowed to say that we cure. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we're not allowed to say that we cure, and we're not allowed to say that we fix, if you like. But so the words that we are allowed to use is we help, we improve, we support, we assist, all of that.
Okay.
And so that when you're saying what the benefits are, you can't say that it gets rid of fibromyalgia. You're not allowed to say that. So here you can see, things like improving circulation, improving lymphatic drainage, supporting fibromyalgia, helps relieve headaches. Do you know what I'm saying? So they're the words that you want to be looking at. And so also that all of these benefits, there's huge benefits. One of the benefits that isn't written down here is stress. Even though it says in that first line there, it's very relaxing. It really helps to reduce stress and calm the nervous system. So when you'll come to these in your A&P, is that you'll see that the sympathetic nervous system has everything speed up into fight or flight.
Yeah.
And then the parasympathetic nervous system slows everything down and gets everything at peace. Okay. And massage is superb for reducing stress and calming the parasympathetic, toning the vagus nerve, and bringing back homeostasis. So let's talk about that word homeostasis right now, actually. Mm-hmm. It's spelt HOMEOSTASIS.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Homeostasis. And that means the body at balance, or the body at equilibrium. Now, massage and all of these modalities, all of these complementary therapy modalities pretty much work to put the body at homeostasis. Some people say homeostasis, stasis, homeostasis, and it's the body at balance and equilibrium. It's when the body can heal itself. Yeah, the body goes into that. It can work to release metabolic waste. Now, metabolic waste or toxins. People think like, oh, I'm so toxic, or toxic, and it's not toxic like you're so toxic. It's toxic like when you make a cup of tea, you'll put your tea in your hot water and a bit of milk, whatever, and you stir your tea and you put all the ingredients in, and then you throw the tea bag away. It's not like, oh, you're so toxic, throwing the tea bag away. And things like, you know, when you peel an apple or peel an onion, you take all the skin off it and then you put that in the bin. It's not like, oh, you're so toxic. It's just, it's not what's needed in the body or needed in the cup of tea or in the dish that you're making. And so metabolic waste are things like byproducts within the cellular structure that aren't needed anymore. They're sort of metabolic processes that when you're breaking down proteins and you're breaking down foods or environmental pathogens, any sort of waste products get excreted out of the body. And they come out in your breath as carbon dioxide, they come out as sweat as urea, they come out as in your urine as urea, and as feces with lots of matter being excreted that way. And that's all metabolic waste. Now, if you're a very healthy person, you're excreting healthy metabolic waste. If you've got a terrible diet and you are toxic and you drink, you know, a bottle of gin a day and smoke 20 fags and eat crisps and Coke and ready meals, then you are so toxic. And then you've also got the frequency and the vibration toxicity of stress and other people that cause toxicity in the cellular frequency that also has to be released. And that usually invariably is released emotionally.
Right, yeah, okay.
So this is our field. That is our field. And it works in the lymphatic system. It works in the skin. It works in the digestive system. It works in all the systems. But massage really helps the body to circulate any metabolic waste to be excreted and to put the body in homeostasis where it will do it itself. Plus, if there's any emotional stagnation or blockages, often massage can help to release that. And it's not unheard of that somebody has a good cry after a massage, during a massage, or or after a massage. They might get in their car and burst out crying. I know that sometimes I've had a treatment and I've come back here and just sort of, from nowhere, I'll have like, what's that all about? But it's the body will release in its way. And that's the homeostasis. So it's holistic. And the word holistic means the mind, the body, and the spirit or the soul.
Okay.
And so all our practices work on the mind, so releasing mental anguish, anxiety, fatigue, overthinking, and the physical circulation, and then the spiritual soul to sort of settle and reconnect to who we really are as an infinite source energy, which is really beautiful when you can just be still. And then you can hear that line of communication a lot better. So when people come for a massage, it's not like, oh, you're just having a little massage. It's profoundly, beneficial on many levels.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So they're the benefits they're the benefits. So what you can experience as a result of having, and are you looking this on paper, by the way? Are you looking at, have you printed this off?
Yeah, I printed it all off.
Yeah, amazing. So towards the back, let me just find, I don't know if it's in this. Is it in this?
Because I had an Indian head massage years and years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know what was wrong with me. I was at a very anxious state then. I know that. I was so ill for about 2 days afterwards. It was unbelievable. And when I came home, she said to me, "Oh, you need to drink lots of water." I went to bed and it was like I was ill again. I had such a raging temperature, bad headache and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it frightened me a bit and I never went back to it. And then a few years later, I went to a Reiki healer and I was talking about it and she said, no, what she was actually doing is releasing an awful lot of toxins that were in your body at that particular time. So I said, but it was quite frightening. So.
Because the name for that is called the healing crisis.
Right.
It's called the healing crisis. In acupuncture, it's called the law of cure. But in massage modalities, we call it the healing crisis. And the healing crisis can be something very immediate in that, I mean, it sounds like a bit dramatic, healing crisis, but, to feeling quite shivery and chilly after your massage and feeling quite dehydrated or feeling sleepy. And then you had that's a proper healing crisis that can go on for a couple of days. And it's the body like that, just releasing. And it's good that it happens, even though it's super uncomfortable. God,
I think
it's great.
That was good. And it actually really frightened me. I thought I'd done something seriously wrong because I'd never had a massage before up until that point. So I'd obviously, but now I understand it a bit more because obviously I've looked into it. I do appreciate that obviously I was building up an awful lot of stuff. So.
To be fair, it's quite uncommon that.
Right.
So that is quite unusual to have such a profound shift, and especially after an Indian head, unless she was doing some voodoo on you. Or was she doing Reiki on you as well, do you know?
Yeah, I think she might have been. It was such a long time ago, I can't really remember. So I think it was.
Because some people are very powerful with their healing hands and, like superpowers and can make you like feel a bit sick.
Yeah.
They can. I mean, you can feel sick, you can feel nauseous, you can feel like you've got the flu. And it's a tricky one because it's also with quantum entanglement, not to give you a quantum physics lecture at 11:30 on a Saturday morning, you have that quantum exchange that sometimes if they are turbulent or they are experiencing anything, that sometimes there's a transference. And that's why we talk about protecting ourselves as therapists and clearing ourselves as therapists, that you get that quantum entanglement that you know, that you might pick up on your therapist's issues. That's a possibility. It's a possibility. But I know that with body work and delivering body work, if the therapist is coming from a loving place and delivering really good, strong body work, it can make you feel quite sick or emotional or tired. And so it's good to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you can just flick, I mean, it's only here just as a little bit. I feel that actually there should be more information in this manual about it. And maybe that's something for me to take on about the healing crisis, or just to talk about when I'm teaching, which I've just done, is on module 11, which is about 20 or 30 pages on from here.
Home and aftercare.
Yeah, exactly. There's a little bit there that says, you know, kind of telling, well, there's a whole aftercare where you say, you know, make sure you leave once your client is grounded and feeling a bit more like, I know that after some of my massages, I do literally have to sit down for 5 minutes just to sort of, you know, get my head together. And just to sort of, you know, make sure that you're feeling like you've had a good drink of water, drink plenty of fluids to process that detoxification, not you're so toxic, but that metabolic circulation, and not to introduce any alcohol or stimulants while your body's going through that process. Similarly with smoking, alcohol, too much caffeine, coffee, all that. Eat a light meal so that you don't want all the blood to be going into your digestive system when the blood's circulating to maintain that homeostasis. And to avoid even strenuous exercise. You don't want to, I've had people here, I'm just off to the gym. I'm like, don't go to the gym. You don't want to put your body into that fight or flight, which is what happens when you work out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It goes into fight or flight because it's like stress. And then this little last bit is what we've been talking about, is don't be concerned if you do feel emotional, or because your body's also relaxing, it releases. And you might experience what's called the healing crisis. And that's what we've just talked about there, which means you can get a headache. So underneath here, while we've got the page open, why don't we think together of some of the other things that we experience of the healing crisis. So there's definitely, you might need to go to the loo. You might need to go to the loo more frequently. So that, just like cold, sleepy, dehydrated. And like you said, you felt, well, a bit nauseous.
Yeah.
Is that right? You felt a bit nauseous or fluey?
I felt, it felt like flu. It felt so, because back then, I don't now because I got rid of them, but I used to get tonsillitis really, really bad.
Yeah.
And it felt as though I was getting it again.
Yeah. So it's your immune system. It's working with your immune system, so that your immune system was like, whoa, hang on a second, what are we doing? And
when you put cold, I mean, I actually felt hot as well.
Felt hot. Okay, so hot. Yeah.
I felt as though I was coming down with something again.
Feverish.
Yes.
Yeah. Feverish. Yeah. So there are others, and then emotional. I think that's a very it's very common to feel emotional. That's stated there. So we can think of others along the way, but I just wanted to pop those in so that you know that that's a possibility.
Okay.
So let's talk now about contraindications before we'll have a very short break just to go to the loo and grab some water. But let's have a quick look at contraindications. And this is when it's not appropriate for you to be working on somebody. So sometimes they're called local contraindications.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're called medical contraindications, and some are total contraindications. Now, these contraindications have been around since the 70s, when holistic massage was designed as a sort of spa treatment, that they said, right, well, these are the restrictions and this is what you can't do. And over the years, it's kind of been modified and moderated in that the cancer research, or the cancer symposium, said that it's not contraindicated during when for cancer. However, we'll go through them now, because I personally wouldn't treat somebody who was right in the middle of having cancer, chemotherapy. I just wouldn't, and it's also safeguarding myself.
Yeah.
So let's go through these. So things like local contraindications are things like bruises and broken capillaries, sunburn, sprains, recent dislocations, broken bones, pustular acne. So you can see there that list, and any grazes and cuts and wounds. Now, when it says local, it means that if I've sort of fallen off my skateboard, not that I do, or whatever, and I've just grazed here, it doesn't mean that I can't have a massage. It just means that when you come to do my arm, you're not going to massage over my graze. If I've walked into a table on a night out and bruised my thigh, it doesn't mean that I can't have a massage. It might be that you're not going to put your heel of your hand and knuckle around my bruise.
Yeah.
So the thing is, though, that if I've had a mole removed from here and it was like an uncertain cancerous mole, a skin cancerous mole, actually, I would say, do you know what? Can you just wait until you've been for your post-op check and had that looked at and everything? And they might say, oh, it's fine. It's been 6 weeks. It's fine. Then it's fine. But if it says, oh, I had a mole removed last week, and they think it might be cancerous, for me, that would be a contraindication.
Yeah.
So
sorry, Anna.
No, I don't know, because I think we might have different ones. Have you got numbers on yours? It's 72 in mine.
Let me just try.
But it's a page after contraindications, contractions, benefits. So that's the first, that's the module.
What module is that, number?
So in module 5?
Module 5, hold on. I'm just going to go back so I can make sure I've got it.
Oh yes, sorry about that, yeah.
Right. When you mentioned list, I thought, oh.
Yeah, I kept my...
Yeah, got it now. Okay.
So yeah, I kept my finger in the page of...
Yeah.
Okay, so they're the top ones. Also, varicose veins they're considered a local contraindication because, you know, if I've got varicose veins behind the back of my knee, I can still have a back massage. I would just miss around that area and around the foot, the leg, excuse me. So varicose veins are contraindicated. You mustn't massage over a varicose vein. Now, there's a difference between varicose veins and thread veins. Some people have sort of quite purple thread veins and they're flat. They're like little spider veins.
Yeah.
They're okay. It's the protruding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Protruding varicose veins that are contraindicated. What you don't want to do is cause any sort of ulceration, and certainly you don't want to be moving any sort of clot towards the heart, or lungs. So totally miss those out. So if someone has got them, because what I've had in the past is that people either they don't know if they got them, or they live with them so much that they are oblivious that they've got them. They forget to put them on their bloody consultation sheet. So
if you've got them on your leg, then could you still massage the back and things like that?
Yeah, and you can massage above it. So say you've got it on your calf. Say they've got them on the calf muscle and behind the knee, which is kind of where they're most commonly. You could work the top of the thigh and just like almost sweep down.
Yeah.
You just can't do any thumb circles or knuckling over the area. Okay. But you could do a very gentle and then get to the top and do some knuckling above it.
Yeah.
and then a sort of, you know, like a nice sweep down, something like that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but it's good to be aware of that. And so, yeah, you know, you can use your common sense. You know when it's like, I don't know about that. Yeah. The next thing is, now these are sort of medical conditions that people have. And they say here that you should require a doctor's permission. Now, this is where I think this is all a little bit dated, because you don't need doctor's permission. It's either contraindicated or it's not. Now, the only time that I would ask for doctor's permission, and it wouldn't fall on me to go and ask for doctor's permission, I would ask my client to go and get approval from their doctor. And that would be if they were on a lot of medication.
Right, okay.
Like a lot, like 6 to 8 things that I didn't know what they were. Yeah. There are certain things that I do know what they are. So if people are on antidepressants, it's okay to have a massage. Okay. If people are on some sort of, you know, like warfarin, blood thinning tablets, they can have a massage, but there's some other modalities that are not appropriate, like cupping and gua sha and derma rolling. I would say no. But for a lovely relaxing massage, if someone's on warfarin, blood thinners, it's fine. Yeah. In fact, it's good because it's enabling, it's good for circulation. Yeah. If someone's on like chronic anti-inflammatories, I mean, it depends what it's for. If it's like, yes, I suffer with rheumatoid arthritis, but I'm all right at the moment, I just take these long term, then that's okay. But if they go, oh, my joints, I've got a real flare up at the moment, I'm taking heavy medication, that's contraindicated.
Okay, yeah, okie dokie. Right.
But things like epilepsy, for example, I've had students here who have been epileptic. They said they haven't had an epileptic fit since they were like 12 and they're like 27 or something like that now. And they take medication, it's absolutely fine. Similarly, at the top there, high or low blood pressure, most people who have got high or low blood pressure are on tablets or on medication that balance it. With high blood pressure, it's brilliant because massage reduces the blood pressure. The one to be a little aware of is low blood pressure, because with low blood pressure, if after a massage you've reduced the blood pressure, further, they might feel a bit dizzy or a bit woozy getting up. So if someone has put low blood pressure, oh my God, I hope I don't get hiccups. If someone has put low blood pressure, you want to make sure that you're sort of, you check on them before they get up off the bed, or that they, you know, they're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone's in severe pain, that's a no. If someone's got thrombosis, that's a no. A heart condition, again, you take their lead on it. If someone's got like, you know, like arrhythmia, like, you know, irregular heartbeat and, you know, a hole in the septum and all of that, that would probably be a no for me. But if someone says, oh, I've had this and it's fine, I don't know, they can tell you whether it's fine or not. And if in doubt, Nikki, you just don't do it.
Yeah.
The cancer situation, for me, is while they're having treatment, it's a no.
Okay.
Unless you are an oncology specialist or an oncology nurse, or you've trained in oncology massage. For us, without specialist oncology training, it's a no.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if somebody says, you know, I had breast cancer 3 years ago, 2 years ago, even a year ago, and they're all clean and completely fine, it's definitely a yes.
Okay.
What you want to be careful of, though, is if someone's had the nodes, the lymph nodes, or a lump and lymph nodes removed, there's a technique, and I'll show you this when we do the practical work, because you don't want to be doing like big stretching and open arm stretching and then knuckling in the pectorals. You don't do that. So you would keep the arm down and massage the arm down. But I'll recover that when we do the practical session. And then the medication situation.
That Good, because a friend of mine actually has had breast cancer 3 years ago.
Yeah. So she's not contraindicated. She can have a massage.
She hasn't got, she had some of her lymph nodes removed under her arm.
Yeah.
But she wears one of those socks on her arm.
On her arm, yeah. Yes, so, of course.
And she said to me, oh, can you do me? Can you do me? And
yes.
I said, let me find out first.
Yeah, you can. You're going to go nice and easy. You're going to go gentle, and you keep her arm down. And it's good because you can write that in your case studies. You can write, this is the situation, so this is how I modified my treatment, and that's really good. It shows that you're able to modify and adapt for each individual. So you can tell her yes.
Brilliant.
She'll love it.
I love that one.
Yeah. So everybody in your case study has to sign a disclaimer. Yeah. And that disclaimer says that they understand that you're a student, and they waive any responsibility if anything happens. I mean, you're not going to, trust me, you're not going to do anything. You're just going to massage them. So you're not doing any manipulation. You're not doing anything. There's very little that you're going to do. But it's just that in case, and this is where we come to this next bit, where it's totally contraindicated, is the reason why you get people to sign a disclaimer is that, if in a month's time she discovers that she's had a flare-up or something's happened, that it's nothing to do, that it's not your massage. And that's why we have people sign a disclaimer, and it wouldn't be your massage. So just for you to know that. Yeah. And it doesn't happen, but I'm just saying we have to safeguard ourselves, and this is why we have contraindications, because it safeguards us in any eventuality that a situation like that emerges, that massage, your insurance company would then step in with medical evidence that says it doesn't cause cancer.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So this is why we have very strict accreditation, insurance, and all of this. That's why we do this work.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, yeah, I'll do your massage. Sure, great. Yeah, no problem. Then someone, has a huge, panic attack or asthma attack. I mean, cancer is quite extreme, but even things like, or a healing crisis like you experience, is that you sign a disclaimer so that if then you were to turn around and go, right, I'm going to sue you, the insurance companies then step in with all medical evidence. Yeah. Which is where your daughter would step in and go, here's the scientific evidence that, this doesn't cause that. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So then we go to the total contraindications, and this is where it's like a no-no. Yeah. There's a couple on here that I wish for you to write down. Okay. So hypersensitive, I'm reading from the list now and then we can add in. So there's hypersensitive skin. I mean, that's if someone's like ridiculously like they would never come for a massage. If anybody had hypersensitive skin, they wouldn't be coming for a massage because they wouldn't be able to be touched. Yeah. Inflammation, so any sort of acute inflammation. So say, for example, whiplash, if somebody just had an accident or somebody just broke their leg or twisted their arm or something like that, and they said, oh, maybe a massage would help. Within the first week or two of some sort of injury, it's contraindicated, because we have to allow the body to go into that inflammatory response naturally. Yeah. You don't want to be circulating. But after that, once that process has happened, then massage is really good to bring extra fresh oxygenated blood and work the lymphatic system. Then it's really good. Okay. That's that. So any sort of viral infections, including coronavirus, but any sort of sickness, vomiting, diarrhea. So I've added in sickness and diarrhea here, but things like sickness, vomiting, diarrhea, impetigo, herpes, chickenpox, scabies. I've also added in shingles here. Yeah. Mumps, diphtheria, and typhoid. All those, and flu. And even, you know, someone's like full of cold and goes, oh yeah, I'm full of cold. Like I just came on like a day or two ago and I'm just so excited. I'm so looking forward to my massage. I'd be like, no, sorry. And no on many levels. No, number one, I don't want to get it, but no, also that actually if you massage, you're sending a virus around the body.
Yeah.
And you don't want to send the virus around the body. You want the body to stay still. And that's why you must go to bed. Go to bed and let your body take care of itself, not be sort of exercising or having massage. So that's the same for fever.
Yeah.
And then widespread psoriasis, eczema, and dermatitis. So if somebody has like a little bit of eczema here on their hands or on their wrist or there, it's okay. You might just miss it out. But if someone's covered in like really open and weeping eczema or psoriasis, that's contraindicated.
Yeah. Okay.
And then also you can write in that little gap there. You can put in the first trimester of pregnancy if you write that in.
I just got that on the list. I think you've added that on the next page.
Right, I'm ahead of myself. That's good. I've updated it. I need to print myself an updated one. The first trimester of pregnancy is really important, and that's again safeguarding because that's the period of time that miscarriage is most common.
Yeah.
So we don't get involved until they have had their 12 to 14 week scan and had the all clear that everything's all right. Perfect. So the task. So we've listed the benefits of contraindications to massage, and now research and list the contraactions, of which we've just done that and had a look. But you could research it and see if there's any more.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'd like a list of 3 total contraindications.
Okay.
And why? Because when you list your contraindications, like we've talked about, is that if you say to somebody, if they say, oh, I've got this, and it means you can't have a massage, and they go, why not? You need to know the reasons why.
Okay.
So choose your 3 total and just say why.
Okay.
And then 5 physical benefits of massage, 5 psychological benefits of massage.
Yeah.
And then have you got this one? An elderly client telephones to inquire about having a massage.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, elderly, I'm talking about sort of late 70s, 80s, not, I mean, I think my dad's about, how old's my dad? 75. He can get on and off a table. He's fine. But it's like an older, maybe I'd still ask somebody like my dad. I would still, are you all right getting on and off the table? And are you taking medication?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So have a think around that. There's a question about pregnancy that I've just told you the answer to, and a bit about the eczema. What actually, I know I've corrected that question because I hate that question. What have I changed that question to?
A client presents with eczema, it's weeping and sore. What advice would you give?
Yeah, I know that I've taken all that out. So that's great. Yeah. So you can have a think about that.
Yeah.
Because it would be contraindicated. Yeah.
Well,
so you can think about what they might, and this is where you could refer them on. You could say, maybe some
on that one.
Sorry?
I'd say to them, if it's weeping and sore, is make sure you keep it clean, but go to the doctor to see if they can give you some creams or something to help with it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And just have a think around it, really. Yeah, exactly that. And then this one, a lady telephones about their 15-year-old son. Now I'm going to give you the answer to this, so you're not going to be searching for hours, and you've got to get the right answer. That basically it's against the law.
Oh, okay.
It's against the law. Hang on, because I'll give you the whole sentence. Right. It's against the law to massage anyone under the age of 16 without parental consent. So they can have a massage, but you have to have parental consent Oh, oh, oh. That's interesting. Shit, I can't. Shit, I can't. Shit. Sorry, someone just sent me a message that I can't do. Sorry.
Against the law to massage
It's
anyone
against
under
the law to massage somebody under the age of 16 without parental consent, and that they have to be present in the room.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So they're considered a minor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it can be a parent or a guardian, but they have to be present in the room and they have to sign the consultation form.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then there's the whole question about diabetes.
Yes.
So, you know, it's okay to massage somebody with diabetes unless they have a flare up and they have got, it's called peripheral neuropathy. So you can have a little look into peripheral neuropathy.
Neuropathy. Wow.
Peripheral neuropathy. Yeah. So diabetes is okay. There's plenty of people with very controlled insulin dependent and dietary diabetes. They're fine to have massage unless they're experiencing sometimes that desensitization. It's called peripheral neuropathy. So have a look at that.
Okay.
Right. I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to do. What time is it? Would you like a little break?
Yeah, it's 12 o'clock. Well, it's 10 to 12.
Yeah. Do you want a little break? Just go and have a glass of water, go to the loo, stretch your legs.
Yeah, okay.
Amazing. Let me just pause. So, module 6, this is a consultation form. So, with every massage that you do, there is a consultation process.
Okay.
It's from sparkling in the background there. So crazy the way it's sparkling.
You've got loads of it going on now.
I know, there, look at that. It's like a big sunset sort of beach or something behind me. Try and change it so that it's not so distracting. It's funny. Maybe it's everything with, because that's a whiteboard back there. Yeah. But you know how it does a green screen, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's a white.
It's sparkling to me. It's to on your left shoulder. I've got it there.
Yeah.
Now it's sparkling on your 2 work bags that are in
there. Yeah.
Here. And down there. Yeah, that's it. That's it. There. It's the fairies.
I need to sit with a green screen behind me with some sort of like amazing images or something, flag up different images.
Do that, can't you? You can get
absolutely you can. My son does it. My son does it on Zoom, and he literally puts his green screen up and projects lots of information on the back of the screen. He's 15.
Oh, bless. You know it all, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They certainly
quite
do.
Envious, really.
So the consultation form is really important. We definitely do a consultation for when you do your case studies, when you're doing your multiple case studies, you only need to do this consultation form one time, and then you will be doing follow-up write-ups. So you don't need to do the consultation for every client. And similarly, when you're in practice, you do a consultation form, and then when your clients regularly visit, you just ask them any changes. I'm sure you've had that before with people go, any changes, any medical changes, everything the same. So that you're just catching up with a declaration signature so they can just sign it again. So this is to get as much information as you can without being nosy, but just to get enough information. Now, I will send you, once we've done the practical day on the 11th, I will send you a Word document consultation form so that you can write into it. You can either print it off and literally handwrite it. You could print these off so that your clients can handwrite it, and then the follow-up sheets you can handwrite them as well, or you can just, I'll send you the whole lot in Word.
Okay, okay.
And it's to get information so that we know if our clients are safe, you know, so there are any contraindications, so it's safe enough to work with our clients. Okay. And if there's anything else that comes up, you can write that under. A little bit of lifestyle on the next page, so a little bit about whether they take medication, a little bit about stress and energy and diet and nutrition, and then you must get a signature.
Okay.
And that's it. The next page is a doctor's consent, and like I said, this goes back ages ago when I think that they thought that doctors would be willing to sign. No doctor's going to sign anything these days. It's a bit like the vets won't sign away any complementary therapy as well, unless they are, you know, working for them. But if you think that somebody needs to get consent from their doctors, ask them to go and get the information. Approval, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next bit is about client comfort and care and codes of conduct and communication and consultation. And this is about just being a really good therapist.
Yeah.
And so as adult learners, we kind of know this already. We've sort of got this going on. But, you know, when I teach the sixth formers and I see them, you know, I always tell this story because it's a good indication, and even with older. But I had a couple of massages at a retreat one time. It was a very expensive retreat, and the young girl, she was like, her client care and her consultation. I don't even think she did a consultation for me, and her client care was really bad.
Yeah.
She was just like, oh, come in, you know, put your clothes in there, and you can keep your knickers on, you can go on there. And, you know, she didn't undress the bed for me, and she didn't sort of sort it out for me, and she didn't ask me any questions about me. I literally could have had loads of contraindications.
Yeah.
And then, but her massage was brilliant.
Really?
Her massage was really good. And then at the same time, I had another treatment, and the woman, oh my God, her client care, she was calling me madam, yes, ma'am, yes, madam. And she, you know, she was like, you know, putting petals down in front of me and putting the bed and, you know, and asking me all the questions. Like she was almost like asking me too many questions. It was like, sorry, love. Can we get on with my massage? And her massage was really flaky. She said, I just want to serve you, and I just want to do this, and I just want to do that. And it was weird. And her massage was really flimsy and really flaky, but it was lovely. It was lovely. Yeah. All massage is lovely. Even having sun cream put on is lovely. Yeah. The sweet spot is in between the two. Yeah. Sweet spot is being very professional, very good at bringing people into your room and making them feel comfortable. I'm just going to shut the door because my boys are doing a bit of rough and tumble up there, I can hear. It's, you know, bringing them into your room and making them feel really happy and comfortable and confident, and they know exactly where they're going and what they're doing, and we'll talk about that when you come as well. And are you bringing a model, by the way?
Yeah, I'm bringing my daughter.
Yeah. I kind of remembered that and answered my own question in the same moment of thought. So I can show you how we would do that. We can sort of role play that. Because that's really part of it. It really is part of the experience. And so the sweet spot is being a very good therapist and a very good practitioner. Yeah. So this whole module, it's not like it's not rocket science. You can read through it yourself, and I'll leave that to you to read. Okay. And it's good about, you know, just good ways of communicating, good eye contact, open questioning, and you get people who, when you do a consultation and you tick something on the consultation and you say, oh, tell me a little bit more about that, and they go, well,
yeah.
when I was 14, da, 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 and then da, 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 and they go on and on and on and on. And I had a lovely, like I had this guy last week. Oh my God, he just told me like, so he spoke for about 15 minutes. And it was a half-hour treatment, which because I'm at home and not doing anything, it was okay. Yeah. But if he was coming in for a seated acupressure treatment and it was half an hour and he spoke for 15 minutes and I had somebody else booked in, because I was renting a room, then so actually it's my responsibility. It's tricky because you need to know about people's conditions and you need to know about people, but you kind of have to, I should have said to him, look, this is really interesting to hear, and let's get on with the massage and you can carry on telling me. So it's, if you've got an hour to deliver a massage and someone's 15, 20 minutes into their conversation, it really cuts down the time frame. Like I said, if you're working from home and it's, if the time is not the issue, then it's okay. But it's if you're paying for 4 hours in a clinic, for example, and you're booked back to back pretty much, you can't afford to have that going on. So that's why this communication module is quite interesting to consider, how you're going to ask your questions, how you sort of, it's, someone's telling you that they've just lost their husband and they're, they're grieving, and you can't just go, get on the table. And similarly, like, we'll talk about it when we finish the massage, is to sort of how to get people off your table is another skill. So this is all really good practice to get your client care, your skills, your communication, and then a little bit about explaining your treatment, and so that people know what you're doing. So you can read through this yourself. It's really straightforward. Do's and don'ts. Yeah, we tend not to, we don't gossip and bitch about people to our clients. We don't have sex with our clients. We don't, we dress appropriately and professionally. Some people love to wear a tunic for massage. Personally, I don't, and I don't think it's necessary to wear a tunic. You know what I'm talking about when I say a tunic? Kind of what a beauty therapist would wear, those sort of polyester sort of things that are zipped right up. You don't need to wear those. You can wear something as long as it's appropriate. And I would assume that you wouldn't be turning up in hot pants and a boob tube. The postie's just about to arrive. So yeah. I'm just going to mute for 1 second, because the dogs are going to bark and he's going to ring the... Can you believe it? But the post office van, I won't turn my laptop round, so there's going to be a bit of barking. The post office van has pulled up outside our house for the postie for them to have a chat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the dogs are like, "What are you doing outside our house? What have you got?" Literally. I mean, as if they don't know that we've got 3 hounds in here. So apologies, but that is what's happening. Not I thought that they were delivering parcels. So yeah, I mean, it's common sense, Nikki. It's real common sense there. Yeah. And so let's go to the module 6. This talks about, why is that question of correct aftercare advice? It seems like a strange place to have it, but the importance of giving correct aftercare advice is really so that your client integrates your massage in the best way possible.
Yeah.
You know, so that they get the best out of it, and so that you sort of limit the healing crisis, I suppose.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a question of why consultation is so important.
Yeah.
And then you need to give 3 examples of a closed question and 3 examples of an open question.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And then it says, why do we need to know about the GP details? Have I taken that out?
No, it's in there.
Yeah. Medication, I would go down the medication route.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I suppose if something was to happen whilst they're being treated by yourself,
yeah,
it's someone's contact, isn't it?
Yeah. They're pulling off now. That's good. Yeah, off he goes. That's so weird. The postie of all people to pull up outside the house. And then the benefits, what benefit is gained by asking the client's occupation? That's an interesting one.
Networking?
No.
No?
No.
Well, I suppose actually...
when you're massaging and you ask somebody what occupation they do, why would that be interesting for us to know as practitioners what occupation they do?
Manual work, they're going to be using different types of muscles, and there could be a regular strain in particular areas.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So things like dentists, tattoo artists, hairdressers, massage therapists, and teachers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? In fact, and then people who sit in front of screens all day.
Yeah.
So many occupations would determine repetitive strain in the body.
Yeah.
So it's good for us to know that. And then we have 10 things that you could make it memorable. I like that question. It's sort of, how would you make, I mean, I love making my room really lovely when people come here. And so you can have a think of the things that you would do, nice little touches that you would do that make the experience memorable and lovely for when your clients come for their treatments.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what question would you ask to find out if your client was happy with your treatment? It's a funny question, but yeah, it's sort of, you know, I mean, not like was that okay? But just things like, you know, how do you feel? Was the pressure okay? You know, was the pressure okay for you? Or I don't know. You can have a think about that. I mean, I don't really say, were you happy with that treatment? But I would ask, you know, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed your treatment. I think would be for me. I hope you enjoyed it, and it's good to have a few massages if you'd like another. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of quite a strange question. Hygiene. So hygiene, like I said, we've been doing hygiene for years in our industry. A little extra now that we've got the coronavirus, but it's good to know 3 bacterial and 3 viral infections, what temperature we're washing our towels, why do we use non-biological detergent, how often we would change our towels, and how would you dispose of the couch roll. Have you read through this at all? I wonder what it says in here about disposing of.
Yeah, no.
You haven't put this through. I mean, like I said, couch roll can go in the bin unless it's got body fluids. You know, even things like waxing, if you've done, not that we're doing waxing, but if I was to do waxing, I would throw that in a yellow bin, just in case there was any sort of blood, any sort of waxing, I would put in the a yellow. I would have one of those in my salon. But for massage, it's fine. It really is fine. Client starts to discuss. Oh yeah, this is like a client starts discussing another of your clients confidential. What would you do? What parts of the body should be exposed when you're massaging? When should you wash our hands? What measures should we take to keep the work areas clean? How do we store client records? What are CPD? Now, let me tell you about CPD. CPD is continual professional development.
Oh yeah, I've got that at work. Yeah, we've got those at work. So
yeah, so that they're asking what is CPD. Explain the difference between direct and indirect infection and what can be done to avoid them. So that's things, just to consider things like cross-contamination, and that's just all about good sterilization and good sanitization of your areas in between clients.
Yeah.
Okay, so the massage media, that word media is like the massage product.
Yeah.
I will teach you that or show you that when we're here, but we'll go through it now so that you can answer the questions.
Okay.
So there's the sweet almond oil, grapeseed, coconut. They're carrier oils. They're sort of base foundation oils, of which there are loads of them actually. There are lots of them. Uh-oh. Does that just knock me out?
No, you're still there.
No, God, my husband calling me. Bless him. Let me just send him a quick text message. He knows that I'm teaching, he's just forgotten. Just teaching, darling. There we go. Yeah. Okay, and then my email does this bonkers thing as well. When we're studying at level 3, coconut oil is a really good oil to use. It's safe, it's really lovely, it's got a nice slip, and it's non-slips and drips, and it's just a really good oil. The other thing that we use here at the school, you can see, you probably can't see, but on my shelf, sort of there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's a load of pre-blended aromatherapy oils that you can use as well. Yeah. So you could use any of those. So pre-blended and coconut. You can also use things like apricot kernel oil, evening primrose oil. There's lots of oils that you can use as your base medium. It's got talcum powder and creams. Talcum powder and creams aren't used in massage anymore. They're usually used for some sports therapists use talcum powder or creams. The other thing that is used a lot is balms, like waxes and balms.
Yeah.
They're the new thing. I'm just going to put that in here because waxes and balms are the new medium, and I'll show you those as well. So when you come, I'll show you how to set the bed up. I'll show you like all the towel technique, and I'll show you lots of different other products, and then you can use what you like.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's got their research 5. I mean, did I change the word vegetable oils to natural oils?
No, you've got vegetable oils here.
Okay, so that word needs to be changed because vegetable oils is quite a misleading word. I'm just going to change that word to natural.
Natural oils.
Yeah, and that's things like, so what that isn't is Johnson's baby oil.
Yeah.
Which is not a natural vegetable oil, but it's things like apricot kernel oil, evening primrose oil, wheat germ, jojoba.
Yeah.
It's spelled like Jojoba.
Yeah.
So it says research another 5 and just talk about their benefits.
Okay. So when you do massage, then do you let the patient choose that sort of thing, or do you have it? You just do it?
So if for as an aromatherapist, the whole thing as an aromatherapist, there's a whole thing about doing a bespoke oil blend.
Yeah.
When you're just doing massage, I would just choose for them. I think that if you had a couple of the wide eye blends, for example, say you had like three of these oils, you could maybe give them a choice. Just let me, as an example, you could ask them if they wanted to select from three. You know, you could say we've got the recharge, we've got the muscle management, and we've got aqua calma. This one's got bergamot patchouli, and let them have a smell. And so you could give them a selection of 3 pre-blends.
Okay.
And then we dilute these with a little bit of fractionated coconut oil. You can look that up. Fractionated coconut oil. So you would put maybe like 10 drops in a little cup and top it up. So for a typical full body massage of the average sized person, it's 30 ml.
Okay.
And 30 ml is, if you're familiar and good at measurements, 30 ml is something like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's how big. So that's around 30 ml. Yeah. And so we would put like a good shake of about 10 to 15 drops of the pre-blended, and then top it up to sort of here.
Uh-huh.
But if you've got a big hairy bloke, you might need it up to like full up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then similarly, if you've got a tiny skinny,
yeah, you're not going to need a lot, are you?
You're not going to need a little bit. And so I never put oil back in the bottle. So it's better to underpour than overpour. Sometimes if I've made an aromatherapy blend for somebody and I overpour, I've got some little amber 10 ml bottles that I would just decant the remainder in and let them go home. And I just say, just massage this around you here. It's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's nice. It says here, how would you recognize a reaction? I think a reaction would look like a rash, like when we do massage, sometimes you can come up with like a bit of erythema, which is like a reddening, which is like where fresh oxygenated bloods come in. There's a difference between erythema and reddening to like a raised rash.
Yeah.
And if there's a raised rash, you want to get a hand towel, go and soak it in warm water and just basically wring it out and just wash them down, and then pat them dry and then tell them to get up and go.
Right.
Okay. And if the rash had not gone down in 48 hours, like 48 hours, they would need to go and see their GP.
Okay. That's fine.
It's never happened to me, by the way, ever. In 25 years. But it's good to know if somebody does have a reaction, because what people think is a reaction is not usually a reaction. People think like, oh my God, I've got all red and blotchy, but some people's skin is quite red and blotchy anyway. Some people they are prone to that.
And that happens anyway when you do massage on some people.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And it goes down. That goes down quickly.
Yeah.
Perfect. So if your client does have a reaction, but also I would read this like, if your client's got sensitive skin, like it's good to have this in your, I mean, coconut's really good for sensitive skin, but evening primrose oil is a great oil for people. If they say, I can't have any products on my skin, like I come out, I'm so sensitive, evening primrose oil, and you can get that from Amazon.
Yeah. Okay.
And Amazon have their home brand, which is called, I think it's called Niasense.
Right. Okay.
It's spelled sort of something like Naiscence, something like that. You'll see it. It's kind of like their home brand, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're good oils. They're very good oils. I buy a lot of carriers. They also have on Amazon a company called the Soapery.
Right.
And so while you're practicing, you don't need to buy like a litre of oil. You just don't. The most amount of oil that I ever buy is about 500 ml.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll rebuy it.
As and when you need it.
Yeah. I don't really carry, I mean, I think I've got like I think the most, again, I bought like a litre one time, but you don't want to have too much, because if you don't use it all, it goes off.
Yeah.
But it goes off after about 5-6 months.
Hold on a minute, Anna.
Go on, darling. Yeah, go. Yeah. Continue recording. Great. Now it says here, if you're using cream,
yeah,
how would you avoid cross-infection? And basically the answer to that is use a spatula.
okay.
And again, I would read not necessarily cream, but balms. Creams aren't used anymore. They're really not. I don't even know why it's in here. But balms and waxes are.
Okay.
So if you are using a balm or a wax, and I'll show you, as I would get a little wooden spatula and take some out and put it into this, and then just use that, and then I wouldn't put the balm back into it. That's it.
Okay.
The next bit is about the massage movements, which I'm going to teach you on the job.
Okie dokie. That's the one I'm looking forward to.
Yes. Okay, and this will make a lot more sense once you've had the massage training, but again, let me go through it now. The one movement that we've not mentioned is vibration, and you need to Google that and have a look at what vibration is.
Vibration. Right, okay.
Yeah, and then have you found the task? It's task module 10 task.
Module 10. The manual massage. Oh no.
That's it. Yes, it is that. It is that.
Task 10.
Yep.
Rubbing out soon. That one.
No, it's the manual massage routine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, let me just turn this on. Perfect. Where would you not use tapotement? So again, when I teach you the tapotement, I will teach you basically not over bony landmarks, and also not over organs.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't do like cupping and hacking, and what this is actually that word tapotement is a bit misleading, because when we do a facial, this is tapotement, but that's not what this is talking about. This is actually talking about percussion.
Oh, okay.
So I need to make a few of these amendments. Percussion is like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this and that. So that's what that tapotement is. It's talking really about percussion. And basically you don't do it over bony landmarks. You wouldn't do it like here. You wouldn't do it on the spine. And you wouldn't do it over organs. Like you wouldn't do it over your heart, and you wouldn't do it over, unless you were doing some sort of recovery procedure. You wouldn't do it over the kidneys. You wouldn't do it on the stomach. I mean, there's a technique in Chinese medicine and Qigong where you do a little bit of soft, it's called douyin, and you do a little bit of soft tapping like that over the heart, over the organs, and you can enliven the meridians. But in massage, we sort of stick to main muscle groups for that sort of work.
Okay.
And what's essential for the therapist to use during those percussive techniques so you don't hurt your client? And the answer to that is soft, floppy wrists.
Soft, floppy wrists, right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and then this is really for you to research and think about for yourself. You'll want a career to be long lasting. This means looking after yourself. Please research and write a 300 minimum word essay on self-care for therapists, including posture for your work, hand positions, the couch. And again, you might want to do this after we've done training, because I'll give you a lot of this information at training about the height of your couch and body dynamics and body positioning and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So maybe just hold fire for that one.
Righty-ho.
Okay. So then we're going to go on to the home care and aftercare, which we read through before. You want to tell your client to drink plenty of water, keep warm, try and just chill out for a bit. I mean, if someone's come for a massage for their birthday, and they're going for a big slap up lunch and piss up, you want to say you need to be drinking plenty of water alongside your Prosecco.
Okie dokie.
And then here, this is what is meant by grounded. This has two factors to it. There's grounded for you as a therapist, and there's grounded after a massage. I think that what this refers to is what it says in the aftercare is get your client grounded before they leave.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's interesting to think about you being grounded as well.
Okay.
Why do we suggest eating a light meal? That's what I was saying earlier, is you don't want all the blood going to your digestive system. You want it to be doing homeostasis and healing and circulating and stuff like that. And eliminating. Yeah. The healing crisis we talked about earlier, and what would you do if your client, have a think about what you would do if your client rang you up and said, you know, I had to go to bed for 2 days and I felt like I got the flu and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Just what would you say and what would you do? I mean, the answer, you would just be very reassuring and tell them to drink plenty of water and rest.
Yeah.
But the overall vibe is that you would be very reassuring that it's okay and it's normal, unless and then you would need to check up on them. So if somebody did say that they had a reaction, you would want to check up with them 48 hours later.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've mentioned home care. This is interesting. Please give 5 examples of home care. So there's aftercare advice is drink plenty of water, keep warm, go and rest. That's aftercare. And then home care is a bit more like recommendations and your suggestions. Okay. And although we're not diagnosing and we're not prescribing, it's really good as a massage therapist to be giving self-care and I'd like to rename it self-care, is that you educate your clients with a bit of self-care. Well, it is there. Is it in there, the word self-care? No, but it is self-care basically. And so what you need to do is consider your client and consider their condition, and then you're going to give 5 examples of this. So you're going to say, so one of my clients came with a very stiff neck. And so my recommendation to her would be, and then you give a recommendation. Okay. And it can be acupoints, it can be essential oils, it can be stretches, it can be yoga, it can be meditation, it can be walking barefoot in the river, it can be sleeping, it can be going out and having a bloody good night out with your mates.
Yeah.
It's anything that's flags up during the consultation process and your intuition really of what, and your findings. Somebody might go, yeah, fine, I'm absolutely fine. You get your hands on their body and they're not fine. They're like, shoulders are like, that's often the case, is that people think they're fine and they're not. It's
amazing how much stress and tension's held in the body, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah, it really is. I don't know how old you are, darling, but do you know about the Louise Hay, How to Heal Your Life?
No.
No, so it was like back in the day when complementary therapy, she was one of the first people who are into complementary therapy and self-development. Her name's Louise Hay. She's a delightful woman who passed away a couple of years ago, but she sort of pioneered complementary therapy and how your body, we're holistic, and what's in your body manifests, as conditions. Do you know what I mean? So, if you've got asthma, then there's a lot of lung condition and the emotions and the thought patterns that create that. And so, like just what we're saying is, what we store, what we think about and create is often held in our body.
Yeah, absolutely.
So think of 5 of those and recommendations of and again, some people work this alongside their case studies. So they've got some examples already. You have to do 20. So, and I ask for you to do self-care advice in your consultations. Is what home care advice would you give to your clients?
Okay.
And finally, now this bit needs a whole bit of updating, really. Bless whoever wrote this, but I'm going to keep it in for you to have a read through and then to sort of up level it to like 2020 in your mind. And then you can read through that yourself. Okay. Yeah, like I said, you can up level it to vlogging. You might want to do vlogging, you do your Facebook, you do your Insta, you do your YouTubes. Yeah. It's different from the olden days where you would leaflet drop or put a notice up in the local health food shop, or take a little advert in the local rag, or So up level it into a mind map. And so question 1, have I left that as design a leaflet for your massage therapy business? Oh, sorry, my husband's just got home. It's all right, Teach. It's all right, Poppet. It's all right, doll. It's all right. All right, doll. Can you find that?
No.
It's at the end of module 12, at the end of the marketing section.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got it now. Design a leaflet for your massage therapy business.
Yeah, and what's the next one?
Make a spider diagram or mind map for a business plan.
Yeah. So I think it's cool to play with making a leaflet. Look, you don't have to make like a glossy leaflet, but I think it's really cool to make a little leaflet for yourself.
That's fine.
Think about your name that you're going to be using. Think about if it might be your name, or you might choose to have a businessy name. Yeah. Think about a little logo. Think about how you're going to put yourself on the market, and if you're going to. Hello, darling. Hello. Hi. I'm just finished in a minute. How are you going to put yourself on the market? In the market, not on the market, in the market. Position yourself in the market, and it can be a sketch. Like I said, you can spend as much. Some people go all the way, and then some people sketch it out. But it's cool. It's a cool little idea. I really like it. And then this mind map or spider diagram, whichever you know how to do. But do you know what I'm talking about with spider diagrams and mind maps? Yeah. So some of the headings that I've got are things like my communication to clients. Yeah. And that would be whether you do, I've got my social media, and sort of the communications is one, and then it links to socials. And then I choose which socials I'm on. So I've got Facebook and Instagram. And then I have got LinkedIn, but I don't use it very much. But then you might be a wizard on LinkedIn and not so much on Instagram. It just really depends on you. And then I've put here like events, I do events and things like that, like taster sessions at events. Yeah. And then I've got MailChimp mail outs, and you can do them. Some people do them weekly, some people do them monthly, and some people I do mine seasonally.
Okay.
So that's my newsletter. And then sort of within my newsletter heading, I do vlogs. I record a video because I just think people don't read text anymore.
I don't think they do now, do they?
No. So and then I've got my clients, and I've just got like home visits, or people come to me and how and what. And then I've got marketing, I've got my budget, advertising, I've got printing, Vista, website, website, and then what platform and blah blah blah. And so just in your mind, do a lovely spider diagram that I can have a look at to see what your mind. So what some people are really whizzy on computer and do these mind maps on computer. I haven't got a clue how to do that. So some people draw it out, and then when you come for your assessment, you bring that drawing with you.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably the way I'll do it.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, is there are two kinds of people who I've seen do it amazingly on PowerPoint, and it's all like interactive with the doors that open, and it's like, oh my God. And then literally I've had people scribble it down, and then I've had people color it in, and it looks amazing colored in. It's like, wow, that's a mind map. And then people have sketched it out. So it's level 3. It is level 3. And actually at colleges, they have you do a whole business module.
Wow.
With like, what they call like market research and, I don't know. It's a bit dated, I think. It's very dated, the market research, the business, iTech business stuff. So that's why I'm sort of like, just think about it, 2020. You know, how we're going to do this, how are you going to get your name in market, to the market? Is it going to be word of mouth, and how are you going to do word of mouth, and where are you going to work from? How much are you going to charge, like your prices? It's really good to have a think about it and sketch it all out. And then also with that, Nikki, is that when I have a look at it, I can almost point you with any gaps, you know, like your insurance policy, and you know, you should have insurance down there as well.
Okay.
So I can just sort of almost brainstorm with you and look at it with you and say, that's a brilliant business model. Or like, you've got loads of gaps there, you need to think about this, you need to think about that. And then you can go away and modify that. You're not going to fail on that unless you just don't do it. But you know what I'm saying. Now, the last bit, I hope I've got in red in your manual, is that you don't need to do module 13.
I've just gone straight to a revision thing.
Yes, it's revision. You don't do it.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's like 150 questions or something like that.
Yeah, I've just seen it now.
That is your revision.
Right.
Have you got a manual that says this is revision only?
Yeah. It just says revision only. In which country was massage first recorded? And then it gives you 5 options for that. So it's
so basically what this is it's a revision resource for your 30 question multiple choice assessment when you come to do your final assessment.
Right. Okay.
The assessment is not like graded. It's really for when you do it, I assess you.
Okay.
So it's not like, oh, you've passed or you failed it. It's just like, you need for me to talk to you a bit more, or it's like, you've got this. And so it's an assessment process so that I can see where you're at.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. And it gives you, it's great because it gives you all the summary of what we've talked about, but it just gives you that background. Now I don't have the answers. There's no answer paper. So just go through it. If you've got any questions about them, please do let me know. I had one student, she had loads of questions. But you know, try and look them up yourself. It's a revision learning resource.
Yeah.
Like, and it's kind of everything we've covered.
Okay, that's fine.
So, any questions?
Yeah, how long have I got to complete all of this by?
There's no limit.
Oh, okay, right.
There's no time limit. When you've been here, however, when you've been here in August and you've done your practical, I like to set a date.
Yeah.
So that it's not open-ended, because I think with open-ended, it's sort of, it can drift.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like to have a date put by so that, yeah.
No,
So that,
that's fine. It's just that I wasn't quite sure when you sent the link through for this on the 11th of August. I just had it in my brain. Oh gosh, I've got to get through this complete manual
no,
before I.
absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Until you only you have to have this completed a week before your assessment.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So say for example, it's going to take you three or 4 months to complete all your case studies.
Yeah.
When we book your test and assessment, I need to see what you've done. Everything needs to be completed. All your case studies need to be completed. All your coursework needs to be completed. You need to be ready to do your 30 multiple choice, and you're going to give me a massage.
Right.
That's the assessment process. It's a four-point assessment.
Right.
Yeah.
Go. Okay. Yeah.
And here's the thing: you could smash a lot of this out before the 11th if you really put your mind to it.
Yeah.
Some of it you can leave until you've done the practical, but you could certainly have a good go.
Okay.
The other thing, here's the other thing, sweetie, is that you don't pass this bit until you pass the anatomy bit as well.
Okay.
So the whole qualification is one.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, so you won't get this. The anatomy and physiology, if you like, is the paramount foundation, but you can do them together. So say, for example, August, September, October, November, if you gave yourself like the week before Christmas as your deadline, say,
Yeah.
or the first week before Christmas, because often the week before Christmas or those couple of weeks are quite hectic.
Yeah.
Or January, do you know what I mean? You might say, actually, no, it's going to be January, because you might set it for the first week in December.
Yeah.
And you haven't done anything by mid-October and you just need an extension.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you've got time and you can really get your head around all of this, you can have completed all your massage and then do the A&P, but you won't get your certificate for that until the A&P is complete.
Right, I'm with you. Okay.
So it is a whole package, and people do this in a year at college, just to give you a time frame. Some people do not so much a year, but so actually, I teach this at college, say from September to Easter.
Yeah.
So that's and then people come in once a week for 3 hours, and that's, so if you did,
So, because what I'm thinking about is the case studies, because obviously I'm going to do my daughter being the first one.
You can do her 5 times.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking.
So you could do like 4 people 5 times.
Oh, okay.
So you can do your husband and your daughter.
Right.
And then have you got
my friend as well.
best mate or something?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And I actually have to perform a massage on them.
Yes, you do. You have to do a full body massage.
So the problem is obviously I don't have the stuff and the equipment.
You're gonna need to buy a table.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we can talk about that on training day. I can give you a whole. In fact, maybe I'll do a little video about it, and then I'll send it to you, and then you can have a look, mooch around.
Yeah.
Because it kind of depends. Let me do a video on it, because it's a big conversation, and I'll do a little video about it, and then you can decide.
Okay, that's fine.
It may not be today.
No, that's fine.
In fact, it may be next Wednesday, something like that, when I've got my table up.
Yeah. Okay.
But basically, you can buy them secondhand.
Yeah.
Most of my tables are £300 beds that have been used maybe once or twice and kept in great condition. I've bought them for like £100. Some people want a brand new bed and they buy a new bed and it's like £200, £250.
Yeah.
Some people this is what my video is going to be like. Some people go mobile and they want a super light bed, in which case you're looking at around a £400 or £500 bed.
Okay.
Let me make a little video about that. It'll be a good one, a good resource, so that people can decide what beds they want.
Yeah, that would be.
And then I'll show you how to dress your bed. So you need towels and covers. So there is a little bit of an additional investment here.
Okay.
But you can look around for second-hand beds, or you can buy sort of reasonably priced beds. And then there's always Primark, who'd have great towels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good quality, inexpensive towels.
Okay.
The oil, not so expensive, just buy a jar of coconut oil.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you've got your table and your towels, that's the, that's it. That is it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you need to think about where you're going to work and how you're going to work, because that will determine if you're going to be schlepping it in and out of your car. It's got to be light, and I'll talk about that in the video about what sort of weight you want to be looking at.
Yeah. Okay.
So you could start having a mooch around. I mean, I work with the Master massage couches, and I also have an affinity couch.
Okay.
The affinity couch I can sit at for facials and reflexology. The Master couches, the Master beds, are good, strong massage tables. And then there's things like Oakworks, which is super duper Ferraris.
Okay.
And then you get the really rickety beauty beds, which you mustn't buy. So don't buy it until you've seen my video, and don't buy it until you've showed me what you're looking at.
All right.
You just don't want, you don't want to make a mistake. That's the thing.
I can't show you at the moment, but my husband set up an outside office because he's been working from home, and I've got a little desk in here as well, so there is a space that I could probably put a bed in here, kick him out for a while, and then use it because he's not going to be here all the time anyway. And well, for the first one, it'll just be himself and Georgia anyway, so I can use those.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's stop this recording. 1 second.